The Fisherman and the Genie. Some time ago, before you were born, and probably even before I was born, there lived an old, poor fisherman. He cast his net 4 times a day, hoping for a fish he could eat, or even better, one he could sell. But the river he fished in was dirty and smelly, and flowed slowly through the valley, so more often than not he went home empty-handed and more than a little hungry. One morning, as usual, he went to the riverbank and cast his net. First he caught a pitcher full of dirt, then shards of useless pottery and glass. On his 3rd try, he pulled up part of an old wooden paddle. This was not turning out to be a good day for fishing at all. On his 4th try, he closed his eyes, cast his net and shouted loudly to the heavens for help from anyone who might happen to be listening. To his surprise and delight, when he hauled in the net, he discovered a copper jar with a cap that had the seal of Solomon on it. The fisherman was overjoyed, since he knew he could sell the jar for money and eat well for a week. Curious to see what was inside the jar, he removed the cap with his knife. To his shock and amazement, a plume of smoke shot out from the jar and knocked him off his feet. As he lay on the ground, dazed and rubbing his eyes, the smoke cleared and the figure of a genie stood in front of him, looking around in wide-eyed amazement at his surroundings.
"Finally! Freedom! I'm released! It's been so long!"
The genie turned and looked at the fisherman, fear flashing across his face.
"Solomon? Is that you? Am I to be released after all this time, only for you to kill me?"
When the fisherman explained that Solomon had been dead for hundreds of years, the genie began to smile.
"It is your lucky day, fisherman," he said. "I shall grant you a wish."
The fisherman was excited to hear this and began to think of what he would wish for, but the genie held up his hand.
"Fisherman, for the first 100 years of my imprisonment, I decided to give gold to whoever found me." "Excellent," said the fisherman, rubbing his hands together. "But nobody came," continued the genie. "So for the next 100 years I decided to grant 3 wishes to whoever freed me."
"Wow," said the fisherman, who was starting to think this was turning out to be a great day.
"But no one freed me," said the genie. "So after 300 years of being trapped in this blasted thing, I decided that instead of all that, whoever was unlucky enough to find me should choose the manner of their death."
The fisherman's blood ran cold with panic as he heard these words. But then a thought flashed through his mind.
"I know exactly what I shall say," he thought to himself, "when the time comes."
The fisherman had an idea. Knowing that most genies were born show-offs, he asked this genie a question.
"You are a very powerful genie," he said, "and I am very impressed by how you can fit yourself into this bottle. How do you do it?"
Keen to show off his powers, the genie shrank himself down and slipped back into the bottle, and quick as a flash, the fisherman put the cap back on.
"Ha! Not as foolish as I look, am I?"
shouted the fisherman at the bottle.
"Now I have you exactly where I want you, and you can do no harm. Now, I will let you out, but only if you promise to help me catch some fish. I'm a poor man, I could use some luck."
The genie, desperate to be free of his bottle prison, swore to help the fisherman in return for being released.
"Aha!"
shouted the genie as the fisherman twisted open the bottle and the genie poured back out.
"You absolute fool! I'm a genie of my word, and I will help you as agreed, but perhaps you forgot what would happen to the person who released me. You must tell me how you want to die."
The fisherman was a smart man. He very calmly and politely told the genie exactly how he wanted to die. The genie was enraged by the answer, but he knew a bargain was a bargain and had no choice but to help the fisherman. The genie led the fisherman to a beautiful secret pond in a nearby forest, full of crystal clear water and teeming with fresh fish. The fisherman caught 4 fish in 10 minutes, and true to his word, he turned to the genie, thanked him for his help, and set him free. But before disappearing, the genie told the fisherman to keep some fish for himself and sell the rest to the king. Day after day, the fisherman returned to this secret pond and always sold his catch to the king's kitchen. After a short time, the fisherman was summoned to the castle to meet the king, who was keen to thank the fisherman personally for the never-ending supply of delicious fish. The king asked where the fisherman caught his fish, and together they visited the secret pond. Awed by its perfect beauty, he insisted the fisherman live on the lakeside for the rest of his life to look after it, catching as many fish as he could for the king. They soon became close friends, spending many days together fishing, sharing stories, and talking of the wonders and tragedies of their lives. One summer afternoon, as the sun set over the lake into a shimmering red sky, the fisherman recounted the tale of the genie and the bottle.
Never in all my life did I expect to have such an experience, but in a way I'm grateful. I live on the shores of a beautiful lake, my family is healthy and well fed, I have an endless supply of delicious fish, and I'm fishing buddies with the king.
A marvellous tale, said the king, chuckling. But there is one question to which I would like an answer.
Of course, my lord, said the fisherman, anything.
What did you say to the genie when he asked you how you wanted to die? The fisherman smiled at the king.
Well, my lord, I simply told him that I wished to die when I was very old, surrounded by my family and friends, and content that I had lived a good and useful life. In the end, I don't think that any of us can ask for more.
So, in the end, the king got his fish, the fisherman got what he wished for, and the genie got his freedom. I suppose you could say that they all lived happily ever after.